The alien sensor officer on Vextar's flagship stared at his displays in complete shock and terror. The energy signature approaching their position was beyond anything his people had ever encountered. The readings were so extreme that his computers kept giving error messages because they could not process the data properly. Commander Vextar demanded answers from his science team, but they had no explanations to offer. The approaching human fleet contained a vessel that generated more power than their largest space stations. The ship appeared to be at least twice the size of the biggest alien Dreadnought, and it was accompanied by 12 other warships. The alien fleet commander felt fear creeping into his mind as he realized the magnitude of his mistake. His people had believed they were setting a trap for weak human transport ships, but instead they had walked into an ambush planned by a superior enemy. Everything his intelligence network had told him was wrong. What kind of weapons? Does a ship that size carry? Vextar asked his weapons specialist, but the alien could only shake his head in confusion. Their databases contained no information about human ships of this size. The largest human vessel they had encountered before was less than half the size of their own heavy cruisers. Across the alien fleet, similar scenes were playing out on dozens of ship bridges. Captains and commanders who had been confident about an easy victory now faced the terrifying reality that they were completely outmatched. The human fleet approaching them represented technology and firepower they did not understand. The alien communication networks filled with panicked messages as ship commanders realized their situation. Retreat orders were given, but many ships were too far from jump points to escape quickly. The alien fleet that had seemed so organized and powerful just minutes before was now scattered and vulnerable. On board his prison ship, Captain Dae Ho heard the sound of running feet and shouting voices in the corridors outside his cell. The alien guards who had been calm and confident were now rushing around in obvious panic. He could not understand their language, but their tone told him everything he needed to know. The human captain allowed himself a small smile of satisfaction as he listened to the chaos around him. His mission had been successful, and the trap was finally closing. The aliens were about to learn that humanity was not the weak prey species they had believed it to be. One of the alien guards rushed past Daeho's cell carrying a weapon that was clearly too large for normal use. The aliens were preparing for a desperate battle against an enemy they did not understand. Captain Daeho had seen this kind of panic before when inferior forces realized they were facing overwhelming opposition. Through the small window in his cell door, Daeho could see alien crew members running through the corridors carrying equipment and supplies. They were probably preparing to abandon ship if the battle went badly. The confident warriors who had captured him were now scared soldiers facing certain defeat. The alien commander Seklor appeared at Daeho's cell, looking angry and desperate. He grabbed the human captain through the bars and demanded answers. What is that ship, human? How did your people build something so large? The alien's voice showed fear mixed with rage as he realized he had been completely deceived. Daeho looked calmly at his captor and spoke in a quiet voice. That is Soul's Thunder, the most advanced warship humanity has ever built. Your intelligence network told you that humans were weak and divided, but you were wrong. We have been preparing for this war longer than, Seklor shook the human prisoner and shouted more questions, but Daeho simply smiled and remained silent. The alien commander was learning the same lesson that many other species had discovered over the centuries. Humans were much more dangerous than they appeared to be. Meanwhile, Admiral So-Jin watched the alien fleet's panicked reactions on her tactical display. The enemy ships were trying to regroup and form defensive positions, but they were too scattered and disorganized. The element of surprise had been complete and devastating. Captain Minho reported that all human ships were in position and ready for battle. The heavy cruisers had targeted the largest alien vessels while the destroyers prepared to hunt down smaller ships trying to escape. The Dreadnought's massive weapons were charged and aimed at the alien command ship admiral. So-Jin opened a communication channel that would reach every ship in both fleets. Her voice was broadcast across the star system carrying a message that would be remembered for generations. Attention, alien fleet. This is Admiral So-Jin of the Human Stellar Navy. You have attacked our people and threatened our colonies. Now you will face the consequences. The message continued with cold, military precision. Your fleet is surrounded and outgunned. Your ground forces are trapped and your mission has failed. You have exactly 60 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to surrender. Any ship that attempts to flee or fight will be destroyed without further warning. Across the alien fleet ship, commanders listened to the human admiral's words with growing despair. They had expected to fight scared human colonists and lightly armed transport ships. Instead, they faced a battle, fleet equipped with weapons they could not match and commanded by officers who had clearly planned this engagement carefully. Some alien captains immediately began shutting down their weapon systems and sending surrender signals. They recognized that resistance would only result in the complete destruction of their ships. Others prepared for a desperate last battle, hoping to damage the human fleet, even if they could not win. The alien fleet commander Vextar made one final attempt to rally his forces. He broadcast orders for all ships to concentrate their fire on the massive human dreadnought. But even as he gave the command, he knew it was hopeless. His weapons were designed to fight ships much smaller than Sol's Thunder Admiral. Sojin counted down the final seconds of her ultimatum, watching as some alien ships surrendered while others prepared to fight. The battle that was about to begin would demonstrate to the entire galaxy that humanity had become a major military power. The 60 seconds expired and the human fleet prepared to show their enemies the full meaning of overwhelming firepower. The aliens had started this war by attacking human colonies, but the humans would finish it by proving that they were no longer easy targets. Captain Deho heard the sound of weapon systems charging up throughout the alien ship where he was imprisoned. The battle was about to begin, and he had a front row seat to watch the aliens learn their final lesson about underestimating human capabilities. The massive dreadnought Sol's Thunder fired its main weapons for the first time in actual combat. The ship's experimental particle beam cannons created brilliant streams of concentrated energy that crossed the void of space in seconds. The beams struck 3 alien heavy cruisers simultaneously, cutting through their armor and hulls like hot knives through soft metal. Admiral Sojin watched the tactical display as the first salvo from her flagship completely destroyed 2 enemy ships and left the third one drifting powerless with its crew dead or dying. The alien vessels had been built to fight ships their own size, but they were helpless against the dreadnought's overwhelming firepower. The 4 human heavy cruisers followed up the dreadnought's attack with coordinated missile strikes. Each cruiser launched dozens of advanced torpedoes that used artificial intelligence to find weak points in enemy armor. The missiles overwhelmed alien point defense systems that were designed to stop much smaller attacks. Captain Minho reported battle damage assessments as information flowed in from across the battlefield. In the first 90 seconds of combat, 12 alien ships had been completely destroyed, and 8 more were so badly damaged they could no longer fight effectively. The human fleet had achieved total surprise and devastating results. The alien fleet commander Vextar watched his forces being systematically annihilated and finally understood the full scope of the trap his people had fallen into. This was not just a military ambush, but a carefully planned demonstration of human technological superiority. Every aspect of the battle showed that humans had been preparing for this war much longer than anyone realized. The human weapons were more advanced than anything in alien databases. The tactics were more sophisticated than previous human battles had suggested, and the coordination between ships showed a level of military organization that few species could match. The aliens had underestimated their enemies in every possible way. Vextar's own flagship shuddered as human missiles impacted against its shields. The defensive barriers that had protected his ship in dozens of previous battles were failing under the concentrated assault. The humans were not just more powerful than expected, but they were also more ruthless and efficient than alien intelligence had predicted. On the planet's surface, Colonel Wu Jin gave the order for his Marines to reveal their true capabilities. The humans who had been pretending to be medical staff suddenly produced military-grade weapons and combat equipment from hidden storage areas. The peaceful research facility transformed into a fortress bristling with advanced defensive systems. The alien ground forces found themselves trapped inside a building designed specifically to kill invaders. Every corridor had been turned into a kill zone, and every room contained hidden weapons. The humans had spent Months preparing for this battle, and their preparations were devastatingly effective. Hidden weapon turrets emerged from walls and ceilings, while armored barriers rose from the floor to provide cover for human defenders. The medical equipment that aliens had seen earlier was revealed to be camouflaged military hardware. The entire facility was a weapon disguised as a hospital. Colonel Wu Jin coordinated the defense from a command center that had been hidden beneath the main building as Tu. Marines fought with precision and discipline that surprised the alien attackers. The humans seemed to anticipate every alien tactic and had prepared specific countermeasures for each one. The alien ground commander realized that his forces were not just outnumbered but completely outmaneuvered. The humans had turned the entire battle zone into a trap, and his soldiers were being eliminated systematically. The medical facility was actually a military base designed to look harmless up in. Space Captain Hana and Captain Jae-sung dropped their damaged ship disguises and brought their corvettes back to full combat capability. The ships that had appeared to be crippled and helpless suddenly revealed hidden weapon systems and began hunting down alien vessels trying to escape the battle zone. Hana's corvette Swift Arrow used its superior speed and maneuverability to chase down alien fighters and light cruisers. The ship's weapons were more advanced than most aliens realized, and its armor was much stronger than it appeared. The corvette had been designed to look weak while actually being quite dangerous. Jae-sung's Night Hunter specialized in electronic warfare and used advanced jamming systems to blind alien sensors and disrupt their communications. Many alien ships found themselves unable to coordinate with their fleet or even see where their enemies were located. The humans controlled the information flow of the entire battle. The two corvettes worked together to systematically eliminate alien escape pods and damaged ships that might carry intelligence back to enemy territory. The humans wanted to send a message, but they also wanted to control what information reached Alien High Command. Admiral So-jin opened another communication channel to broadcast across the entire star system. This message was intended not just for the aliens present, but for anyone else who might be listening. Attention, all vessels. This is the human stellar navy, demonstrating our response to unprovoked attacks on human colonies. The broadcast continued with clinical precision. Your fleet attacked our transport ships, threatened our people, and invaded our territory. We have responded with overwhelming force to show that humanity will defend itself. Any species considering similar actions should observe these results carefully. The message was being recorded by communication satellites throughout the system and would soon reach alien intelligence networks across the galaxy. The battle was not just about defeating this particular fleet, but about establishing humanity's reputation as a major military power. The alien survivors who were still capable of fighting made desperate last stands, but their efforts were hopeless. The human fleet was not just larger and more powerful, but also better commanded and more technologically advanced. Every alien tactical move was anticipated and countered. Some alien ships attempted to ram human vessels in suicide attacks, but even these desperate measures failed. The human ships were too well protected and too maneuverable to be caught by slower alien vessels. The battle had become a one-sided slaughter that demonstrated the complete superiority of human military capabilities. Captain Dae-ho felt his prison ship shaking as human weapons impacted its hull. The alien crew was in full panic now, and he could hear them abandoning their posts to reach escape pods. The ship that had seemed so powerful when it captured his transport was now just another victim of human firepower. The battle that had begun with such confidence for the alien fleet was ending with complete human victory. The trap had worked perfectly, and the message would spread throughout the galaxy that humanity was no longer hiding in the shadows waiting to be conquered. The alien boarding pod slammed into the hull of Busan's Hope with loud metallic crashes. Captain Dae-ho felt the ship shake as the aliens cut through the outer doors. He looked at his crew one last time and nodded. They knew what to do. The young communication officer Yeon was already destroying the computer files while Engineer Taiman smashed the navigation equipment with a heavy wrench. The alien soldiers burst through the doorway expecting to find scared humans hiding in corners. Instead, they found Captain Dae-ho standing calmly in the middle of the bridge. He had his hands raised, but he was smiling. The aliens were confused. This was not how humans usually acted when their ships were captured. Most humans screamed and cried and begged for their lives. The alien commander Seklor walked onto the bridge wearing heavy battle armor. His reptilian face showed surprise when he saw the destroyed equipment around him. The humans had been busy during the few minutes it took his soldiers to break in. Sparks flew from broken control panels and smoke filled the air from burning computer cores. Dai-Ho looked directly at Seklor and spoke in a clear voice. "You are too late, Commander. We detected your ships before you attacked. The medical supplies have already been launched toward the planet in escape pods. Your ambush failed." The alien commander studied the human captain, trying to understand why he seemed so calm. Seklor ordered his soldiers to search the cargo holds. While he questioned the prisoners, the aliens found the holds filled with empty containers and basic supplies. There were no medical supplies anywhere on the ship. The science equipment they found was old and worthless. Nothing on this ship was worth the effort of capturing it. The alien commander grabbed Dai-Ho by his uniform and pulled him close. "Where are the real supplies, human?" The captain pointed toward the large viewing window that showed the nearby planet. "We launched them 20 minutes. Ago in automated pods, they should reach the surface in 6 hours. Your attack gave us enough time to save the colony." This was exactly what human intelligence had predicted the aliens would believe. The story was simple and logical. The humans had detected the ambush early and saved their cargo by launching it toward the planet. The aliens had won the battle but lost the prize. This made them angry and desperate to recover something from their attack. Seklor immediately sent fast ships toward the planet to search for the escape pods. His sensors detected 12 objects falling through the atmosphere toward the main colony. The pods were exactly where the human captain said they would be. The alien commander felt pleased that he could still capture the medical supplies even if the humans had tried to be clever. What Seklor did not know was that the 12 pods contained basic medicines and outdated medical equipment. The real medical supplies for the colony had been delivered months ago through different ships. The pods were just another part of the deception designed to make the aliens believe they had found something valuable. Meanwhile, Captain Hana and Captain Jae-sung continued to play their roles perfectly. Their corvettes had taken real damage during the battle, but not as much as they pretended. Hana's ship vented atmosphere from storage tanks instead of life support systems, while Jae-sung's engines were only partly damaged but appeared completely destroyed. Both captains sent carefully crafted distress messages that alien intelligence would intercept. The messages spoke about a major human medical facility on the nearby planet. The facility was supposedly building new treatments for alien diseases and was practically defenseless. Hana made her transmissions sound desperate and scared, as if she was trying to hide important information. The alien intelligence officers who monitored human communications were excited by what they heard. The distress calls mentioned things that seemed too secret and important to be fake. The humans appeared to be trying to protect something much more valuable than simple medical supplies. The facility on the planet could be worth attacking, even without the cargo from the transport ship. Jae-sung added to the deception by sending a coded message that the aliens easily broke. The message warned the planet about incoming alien attack forces and mentioned that the medical facility should prepare to evacuate its most important research. The aliens interpreted this as proof that something extremely valuable was hidden on the planet's surface. What the aliens did not realize was that the planet below was not a medical colony at all. It was a recently established human military outpost disguised to look like a civilian settlement. The research facility was real, but it studied weapons and military tactics instead of medicine. The colony had been preparing for this attack for months. The alien fleet commander, Vextar, received reports from his boarding parties and intelligence officers. Everything seemed to confirm that the humans had been trying to hide something important. The transport ship was obviously a decoy, but the real prize was on the planet. The medical facility could contain research worth more than 100 cargo ships. Vextar made the decision that human planners had hoped for. He ordered his fleet to attack the planet directly. His ships would capture the medical facility and interrogate the researchers. The humans had tried to be clever, but they had revealed something even more valuable than what they were trying to hide. Captain Deho watched the alien fleet moving toward the planet through the viewing window of his prison cell. He had been moved to a small room on Seklor's command ship along with his crew. The aliens thought they were just prisoners waiting to be interrogated, but Deho had one more job to complete. Hidden in his clothing was a tiny transmitter that could send one short message on an ancient Earth frequency. The device was designed to look like a medical implant, and the aliens had not found it during their search. Deho waited for the right moment when the guards were distracted by preparations for the planet attack. The alien soldiers were excited about attacking a defenseless medical facility. They talked loudly about the valuable research they would capture and the reputation they would gain. The guards barely watched their prisoners. As they discussed their plans for dividing the captured technology, Deho carefully activated the transmitter and whispered into it. "This is transport. Captain to any human vessels in range. Package delivered. The door is open and guests are scattered. Time for the party to begin." He spoke so quietly that even his own crew did not hear him. The message was transmitted on a frequency that most alien sensors ignored. It was an old Earth radio band that primitive human colonies had used decades ago. The aliens knew about it but considered it obsolete and harmless. They did not monitor communications on that frequency because they thought no modern human ships used it. 3 star systems away, Admiral So-Jin received the message aboard her massive Dreadnought Soul's Thunder. She had been waiting in dark space for 2 weeks, keeping her fleet hidden from alien sensors. The message told her that the trap was working perfectly, and the alien fleet was in position for the counterattack. The human battle plan was reaching its final stage. Everything had worked exactly as the strategist had predicted. The aliens believed they were winning when they were actually walking into the largest trap in human military history. The real battle was about to begin, and the aliens had no idea what was coming for them. Captain Deho settled back in his prison cell and tried to look defeated and worried. He had completed his mission successfully. The coordinates had been transmitted, and the fleet was in position. All he had to do now was survive long enough to see the aliens learn the truth about human tactical planning. Admiral So-Jin stood on the bridge of the massive Dreadnought Soul's Thunder, reading the decoded message from Captain Deho. The signal was weak and distorted, but the meaning was clear. The alien fleet had taken the bait and was now attacking the planet exactly as human planners had predicted. The trap was set and ready to be sprung. The Dreadnought was unlike any ship that had ever been built by humans or aliens. It stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern and carried weapons that had never been tested in real combat. The ship's armor was made from materials discovered on distant worlds, and its engines could generate more power than most space stations. Captain Minho walked up to the admiral carrying a tactical display that showed the positions of all human ships. The battle group consisted of the Dreadnought 4 heavy cruisers and 8 destroyers. Every ship had been specially chosen for this mission, and their crews had trained together for months preparing for this exact moment. So-Jin studied the tactical display and nodded to her second in command. The alien fleet was spread across 3 planets, and the nebula exactly as intelligence had predicted. Some ships were attacking the planet, while others searched for escape pods. The aliens had divided their forces, which made them vulnerable to a coordinated attack. "Signal the fleet," she ordered in a calm voice that carried across the bridge. "All ships prepare for immediate hyperspace jump." "We have waited long enough." Captain Minho relayed the orders to the other ships, and within minutes, the entire battle group was ready to move. The crews had been on alert for days, and they responded with perfect efficiency. The hyperspace engines of 13 human warships charged up simultaneously, creating massive energy signatures that could be detected across several star systems. The ships began to move faster than light, traveling toward their destination, where the alien fleet waited completely unaware of the approaching danger. On the planet's surface, Colonel Wu Jin crouched behind a reinforced barrier, watching alien dropships land near what appeared to be a medical research facility. The building looked peaceful and harmless from the outside, but it was actually a fortress filled with hidden weapons and elite Marines. The aliens were walking into another carefully prepared trap. The colonel spoke into his communication device to coordinate the defense. "All units remain hidden until my signal. Let them think we are just scared doctors and nurses. The aliens must believe they are winning until the fleet arrives. His Marines were positioned throughout the fake medical complex, waiting for the order to reveal their true nature. Wu Jin had served in battles against alien forces for 5 years, and he understood their tactics. The aliens always underestimated human defensive capabilities. They expected to face panicked civilians who would surrender quickly instead of trained soldiers who knew how to fight. The colonel planned to use this arrogance against them. The alien ground forces advanced toward the medical facility expecting minimal resistance. Their intelligence report said the building contained only doctors, researchers, and a few security guards. The aliens brought enough firepower to destroy a small city, but they moved carelessly because they thought victory was certain. When the first alien soldiers reached the facility entrance, they found the doors unlocked, and the lights still on inside. They could see people in medical uniforms running around in apparent panic. The humans looked terrified and helpless, exactly as the aliens expected. The facility appeared to be completely defenseless, but as soon as the aliens entered the building, the trap was activated. Hidden weapon turrets emerged from the walls and ceiling, while the humans in medical uniforms revealed combat armor and military weapons. The peaceful research facility transformed into a killing zone in seconds. Colonel Wu Jin smiled grimly as his Marines opened fire with precision and coordination. The aliens had expected to face frightened civilians, but instead found themselves fighting elite human soldiers who had prepared for this battle for months. Every corridor and room had been turned into a defensive position. The alien ground commander realized immediately that his intelligence was wrong. This was not a medical facility at all, but a military base disguised to look harmless. His forces were trapped inside a building designed to kill anyone who entered uninvited. The humans had fooled them completely. Once again, up in space, the alien fleet commander Vextar received increasingly desperate reports from his ground forces. The attack on the medical facility was not going according to plan. His soldiers were taking heavy casualties and making no progress. The humans were fighting like professional soldiers instead of civilian doctors. Vextar stared at his tactical display, trying to understand what had gone wrong. His intelligence network had provided detailed information about the facility and the planet, but everything was turning out to be false. The humans seemed to have anticipated his every move and prepared countermeasures. Then his sensor officer delivered news that made his blood run cold. "Commander, we are detecting massive hyperspace signatures approaching our position. The energy readings are off our scales. Something very large is coming toward us fast." Vextar felt his stomach drop as he realized the humans might have set a much larger trap. The sensor readings showed 13 ships approaching, but the largest energy signature was beyond anything in the alien databases. The ship, generating that much power, would have to be enormous, possibly larger than anything the aliens had ever built. Vextar had heard rumors about a human superweapon, but he had dismissed them as propaganda. Admiral So Jin felt the familiar sensation of dropping out of hyperspace as Sol's Thunder and its escort ships arrived at the edge of the star system. Her sensors immediately began scanning for targets and identifying alien ship positions. The enemy fleet was exactly where Captain Dae Ho had said it would be. The massive Dreadnought appeared on alien sensors like a small moon suddenly materializing in space. Its weapons were powered up and ready to fire, while its escort ships spread out in attack formation. The human fleet had arrived, with perfect timing and overwhelming firepower. Sojin looked at the tactical display showing 43 alien ships scattered across the system. Many of them were caught completely off guard, while others were too far away to provide mutual support. This was exactly the situation human strategists had planned for and trained to exploit. "All ships execute Thunder Protocol," she commanded, with quiet authority. "Show them why humans do not make empty threats." The order was relayed to every ship in the battle group, and the crews prepared to demonstrate the full power of human military technology. The alien fleet that had seemed so powerful just minutes before now looked small and vulnerable compared to the approaching human dreadnought. Vextar realized that his people had made a terrible mistake by underestimating their human enemies. The trap was about to close and there was nowhere to run. The alien commander Vextar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking at the holographic display in front of him. The blue light from the screen showed him everything he wanted to see. A single human transport ship would pass through the Kepler Nebula in exactly 3 days. The ship looked weak and carried only basic weapons. 2 small human escort ships traveled with it, but they were nothing compared to his fleet of 27 war vessels. Vextar had been hunting human supply. Ships for 8 long months. His people needed to cut off the humans before they spread to more star systems. The humans were expanding too fast and taking planets that belonged to other species. This transport ship looked like the perfect target. His spy network had worked hard to get this information, and it seemed too good to be true. The intelligence report said the human ship carried medical supplies for a dying colony world. The colonists were sick and would die without these medicines. Vextar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. This would be easy. The humans always tried to save their sick and weak people. It made them predictable and soft. His fleet would destroy the escort ships first, then capture the transport. The medical supplies would be destroyed and another human colony would fall. 3 systems away. Captain Deho sat in his command chair aboard the transport ship Busan's Hope. He looked calm, but his hands were slightly shaking. He knew what was coming in 3 days. His ship did not carry medical supplies at all. Instead, the cargo holds contained the most advanced terraforming equipment humanity had ever built. This equipment could turn dead planets into garden worlds. In just a few years, Deho looked at his crew of 12 people. They had all volunteered for this mission, knowing they might not return home. The ship's communication officer was a young woman named Yeon, who had just graduated from the academy. The chief engineer was an old man called Taimin, who had served on ships for 30 years. All of them knew this was probably a suicide mission, but they also knew it was important. The 2 escort ships flew alongside Busan's Hope, in perfect formation. Captain Hana commanded the corvette Swift Arrow, and Captain Jae-sung led the corvette Night Hunter. Both ships looked small and weak, but they carried more weapons than most people knew about. Their crews were also volunteers who understood the risks. For weeks, human intelligence agents had been feeding false information to alien spies. The aliens thought they knew everything about this mission, but they were wrong. Every detail had been carefully planned to make them think this was an easy target. The real medical supplies had been delivered to the colony world through different routes months ago. Captain Hana opened a communication channel to the other 2 ships. Her face appeared on the screens, looking serious but determined. She spoke in a quiet voice that her crews knew well. We are 12 hours away from the nebula. Everyone knows their job. Make it look real, but do not get yourselves killed for nothing. We need to survive long enough for the plan to work. Captain Jae-sung nodded and checked his weapon systems. One more time. His ship was ready for battle, but he had orders to lose the fight in a convincing way. This was harder than winning because he had to make the aliens believe they were really defeating him. His crew had practiced this many times, but doing it for real would be different. Deho looked at the star chart showing their route through the nebula. The gas clouds would hide the alien fleet until the last moment. But human sensors were better than most aliens knew. They would detect the enemy ships before the attack began. The question was whether they could send their secret message before being captured or killed. The alien spy network had worked perfectly from their point of view. For months, they had been gathering information about human ship movements and supply routes. They did not know that human counterintelligence had been watching them the whole time. Every piece of information they gathered was either real, but unimportant, or completely false, but believable. Vextar called his fleet commanders together for a final briefing. The holographic display showed the nebula and the expected human ship positions. His science officer estimated the human ships would be destroyed in less than 10 minutes. The transport ship would be captured with its cargo intact. It would be a perfect victory that would make him famous among his people. The alien fleet consisted of fast attack ships, heavy cruisers, and 1 old Dreadnought. The ships had been fighting humans for 2 years and had won most of their battles. The aliens believed they were superior to humans in every way. Their weapons were stronger, their armor was thicker, and their tactics were proven in many wars. What the aliens did not understand was that humans learned. From every defeat, they studied alien weapons and tactics, then developed new ways to fight back. The 3 human ships flying into the nebula were equipped with the latest technology, but they were ordered not to use most of it. The real purpose of this mission was not to win a battle, but to set a trap 12 hours before the attack. Captain Deho received a coded message from Human Command. The message was short, but it told him everything he needed to know. The fleet was in position and waiting for his signal. All he had to do was survive long enough to send the coordinates and the code phrase that would start the real battle. The message also told him that the terraforming equipment in his cargo holds was just for show. The real equipment had already been delivered to its destination through secret channels. His sacrifice would not be wasted even if the worst happened. His crew did not know this, and he would not tell them. It was better for them to believe their cargo was important. As the 3 human ships approached the nebula, Daiho thought about his family back on Earth. His wife Min-jung was a doctor who worked with alien refugees. She had supported his decision to take this dangerous mission. His daughter, So Young, was studying engineering and wanted to design better starships someday. He hoped he would see them again, but he was prepared to die for the future of humanity. The nebula appeared on their screens as a giant cloud of purple and blue gas. It was beautiful, but deadly. The gas would interfere with sensors and communications, making it the perfect place for an ambush. Daeho knew that somewhere in that cloud, 27 alien warships were waiting for them. He opened a channel to his crew and spoke in a calm, clear voice. "In 6 hours we will enter the nebula and the aliens will attack us. Remember that we are not trying to win this battle. We are trying to survive long enough to complete our real mission. Stay calm. Follow orders, and trust that help is coming." The 3 human ships continued toward their destiny, carrying the hopes and fears of their crews. Each person aboard knew they were part of something bigger than themselves. They were not just fighting for their own lives, but for the future of human expansion into the galaxy. The trap was set, and soon it would be sprung. The battle ended with most of the alien fleet either destroyed or surrendered. 27 alien warships had been reduced to scattered debris and a handful of damaged vessels whose crews were begging for mercy. Admiral So-jin ordered her ships to cease fire and begin rescue operations for alien survivors who had abandoned their vessels. The massive Dreadnought Soul's Thunder moved slowly through the battlefield, like a predator surveying its territory. Human rescue shuttles launched from the escort ships to collect alien escape pods and survivors. The humans showed mercy to their defeated enemies, but the message was clear about who controlled this star system. Now Captain Daeho was released from his prison cell when human Marines boarded the alien command ship. The aliens had surrendered rather than face complete destruction, and their crew offered no resistance to the boarding parties. Daeho walked calmly through corridors filled with dejected alien prisoners who could not meet his eyes. The alien commander Sekalor was brought before Admiral So-jin as a prisoner of war. He had expected to be executed immediately, but instead found himself treated according to human military regulations. The admiral questioned him about alien fleet positions and military capabilities while treating him with professional courtesy. Admiral So-jin had captured not just ships and prisoners, but also complete alien communication equipment and computer databases. The information would provide human intelligence with detailed knowledge about alien military organization and plans. The victory was even more complete than it appeared. On the planet's surface, Colonel Wu Jin supervised the surrender of alien ground forces. The troops that had expected to capture a helpless medical facility instead found themselves prisoners of elite human Marines. The fake hospital revealed its true nature as a sophisticated military installation. The alien soldiers were shocked to learn that everything they had believed about the mission was false. There was no medical research facility, no dying colonists, and no valuable supplies to capture. The entire operation had been designed to lure them into a trap where they could be defeated and captured. But Admiral So-jin had a different plan for her prisoners than simple interrogation. She ordered that the aliens be treated well and given access to communication equipment. Her officers were confused by these orders until she explained her reasoning to Captain Minho in private. "I want them to contact their homeworlds," she told her second-in-command. "Make sure they have clear channels to send detailed reports about what happened here. The admiral wanted the alien high command to receive complete and accurate information about the battle from their own people. The captured aliens were allowed to send long, detailed messages to their leaders, describing everything they had witnessed. The reports spoke of human weapons that seemed impossible to defeat and coordination that suggested superior tactical planning. The aliens described how completely they had been deceived and outmaneuvered. The alien high command received these reports within days, and the information spread quickly through their intelligence networks. The species that had considered humans to be weak prey animals now understood they had awakened something much more dangerous than they realized. Human strategic planners had designed this entire operation, not just to win a battle, but to send a message throughout the galaxy. The demonstration of overwhelming force would prevent other alien species from making similar mistakes. The reputation for strength would protect human colonies better than any number of defensive fleets. Admiral,